Britain is grinding to a halt, and it's not just because of the blanket of snow sending a shiver down the length of the country overnight. No, militant unions are playing politics with the festive season and intend to send hard-working Brits into a virtual Christmas for a third painful year. Yes, strikes are the new lockdowns, folks, with Transport Secretary Mark Harper conceding to the Daily Telegraph. This year, many families may have no choice but to alter their plans and have a virtual Christmas again. This isn't due to a new public health pandemic, but because of rail strikes planned by the RMT union to cause misery during the festive period. So here's the strike calendar of hell for this week alone, people. Tomorrow, the RMT train strike begins for 48 hours. Rural Payments Agency customer service strike. Driving examiners in North East England and Scotland strike. That's until Sunday. Then on Wednesday, Royal Mail Workers strike, and that begins for 48 hours. On Thursday, the Royal College of Nursing Staff in England, Wales and Northern Ireland intend to strike for the first time in their history. Great Western Railway Unite engineers strike too. On Friday, another RMT train strike begins, this time for 48 hours. Abilio London bus drivers strike for 48 hours. And Heathrow ground handling staff strike for 72 hours. Also that day, National Highway staff working in Northern England begin a 48-hour strike. We're so used to working from home, avoiding the hard yards, being let down by our public services, that we now just seem to shrug our shoulders at the fact nothing properly works anymore. Have you noticed that? And these strikes just add to the pain. But now our lives are on the line too. And I say enough is enough. People will die as a result of the decisions of these unions. Nurses are wanting a 19% pay hike. Those levels of increases would bankrupt us as a country, leading to an inflation death spiral and an extra £28 billion of state spending. You know that it would effectively force ordinary families to pay £1,000 more in taxes every year. I also want to point out that these unions are in the tank for Labour, pumping £15 million into the party since Slippery Starmer became leader as they try and force the country into a general strike by stealth. It's Labour's pact with the devil and they should come clean. As the former Deputy Prime Minister said on Radio 4 last night, it's time for anyone who believes in democracy to resist this madness.
All know, anyone who's read history books, look at the 1970s, where when you gave huge pay awards because inflation was high, then what you did was make that inflation permanent, causing more misery and more distress for years to come. It took us about 10 years to squeeze inflation out of the system in the 70s and 80s. Let's not get back to that. And I fear, to continue my 1970s analogy, that maybe not the nurses, but certainly some of the other unions involved, the rail unions and the PCS, are looking at this as a set of political strikes. This is a quasi-general strike they're trying to organise, and that needs to be resisted by everyone who cares about democracy.
Indeed it does. These unions are prepared to destroy Christmas, which is bad enough, but their ultimate goal is to subvert democracy by bringing down a democratically elected Conservative government. Now, I understand times are really tough and many folk deserve a pay rise, but demands for 20% increases when workers in the private sector are lucky to hold onto their job at all are selfish and also an example of recklessness. But they have an obvious political motivation.